Now, the interview that really jump-started The Breakfast Club, the first of their interviews to go viral, was the one with Charlemagne and Lil Mama. Little known fact, but a blatantly obvious fact, was that Charlemagne made it his mission to make Lil Mama cry.
Didn't I tell you, Angela, we was in the bar, we was drinking. I said, I'm gonna make Lil Mama cry tomorrow. Didn't I tell you that?
Now, rapper Natia Kirkland, aka Lil Mama, rose to fame in the late 2000s with 2 top 10 hit singles, Lip Gloss and Shawty Get Loose featuring T-Pain and Chris Brown, both from her album The Voice of the Young People. And she was also a host on a hit TV show called America's Best Dance Crew. All of this at just the tender age of 17. But in the midst of her glorious rise, she was dealt with a devastating blow when she lost her mother to cancer. Her mother Tara had been her biggest fan and appeared in her lip gloss music video. Initially, her mother gave her the lip gloss and it boosted her confidence. But at the end of the video, her mother assures her that it wasn't the lip gloss, it was you all along.
I always refer to it as being like the highest point in my life and the lowest point in my life. It's almost like, not almost, it's actually like, I can't wait to do it. Oh my God, when I get the opportunity, it's gonna be this, that, and the third. And it's like, you don't ever wanna lose a parent. You're never thinking about that. So for it to be happening at the same time was like, oh my God. When I look back at that video, yeah, it's like now it's like, I don't wanna cry.
Girl, it's okay.
But it's like, when she says, I'm always crying, I'm gonna cry. When she says, Mama, it wasn't the lip gloss, it was you all along, it really inspires me to just keep going no matter what.
See, Lil Mama had a gift and aimed to share her talents with the world. And she figured that anything she went through at this point was all a part of a bigger plan for her life. She knew she was special and felt chosen, even before she was signed. See, back when she was 15 years old, rapper The Game was performing his new diss record called 300 Bars and Running at a local concert in Brooklyn, when a young Lil Mama, who at the time went by the stage name M.A., would unexpectedly join him on stage. She announced who she was and then stood beside him as he continued his performance. Now, everyone on stage was initially confused, and rightfully so, but they kept it cool and rocked with it. Now, was it right? No, but it was her way of paying homage to him. And in the mind of a young aspiring teen with dreams whose life was changing fast, it made perfect sense to her in that moment. Fast forward to September 13th, 2009 at the VMA Awards. By now, Lil Mama's fame had taken off, but she never got to properly grieve the recent loss of her mother because everything was just happening so quickly. Now, she would arrive late to the show, but was seated near the front, just a few rows behind superstar Beyonce. And I'm not making excuses for her behavior, I'm just setting the scene, providing context, so just bear with me. Now, coming from the gritty streets of Harlem to now being surrounded by greatness, reeling from the death of her mother and clinging to the inspiration from her mentors, people whose music she grew up on, you can imagine just how overwhelmed her emotions were when Jay-Z and Alicia Keys, both from where she was from, came out on stage to perform their mega hit, which was an ode to New York. And as someone immersed in hip-hop culture, the love you had for your home state meant everything. And as a young MC, and as the self-proclaimed voice of the young people, she again felt chosen by God, and that all the adversity she had been facing was all for greatness. So with teenage hormones and emotions running all over the place, she'd make her way to the stage, and tried to take Beyonce with her. And B was just like, what are you doing? But Lil Mama was like, nah, life is short, but this right here, this is a moment. Let's just do it. Come on. And B was just lost, like, what is going on right now? And before anyone knew it, Lil Mama would take to the stage to stand beside Jay-Z and Alicia in solidarity, the same way she did The Game years prior. But this time repping New York, and this was to serve as a full circle moment. She just knew that she would be embraced and that the two artists beside her would be like, yeah, that's Mama, she's one of us. But unfortunately for Lil Mama, this stunt would be her undoing. Twitter was the newest social media platform out at the time, and it gave people a chance to voice their opinions on Lil Mama's actions. She was ridiculed, mocked, and cyberbullied for years following this incident. It didn't help that neither Jay-Z nor Alicia Keys accepted her apology, nor would they come to her defense. And she was blackballed from many sectors in the industry, as there was an underlying clause put in place that if you worked with Lil Mama, there was a likelihood that Jay-Z nor Alicia would want to work with you.
I have to ask you, what the hell were you thinking?
Well,
what the hell?
Well, I don't think it's as serious as everybody tried to make it out to be. it actually wasn't at all as negative as they tried to make it out to be. When I was sitting in the stands, I was very excited, and I felt the connection, like being from New York, being in hip hop. I was just like so emotional that I just
feeling it.
Yeah, I was really feeling it. I got up there to share that moment, and it was just like I felt like I was being embraced at the time. You know, Jay-Z was bouncing back, and I'm feeling like this whole moment is happening, but I'm not planning it to be a moment. It just happened. And,
did he tap your leg though, like get back?
But I didn't feel that. Oh. I actually saw the tap
later.
Later on, and I was actually embarrassed. I was like, "Whoa, Jay-Z!"
He tapped you.
I went backstage, and Jay was like, "So you ain't see that?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "No, you ain't just see what just happened?" And I was like, "Yeah, we killed it. That's what just happened." And he was like, "No, you ain't see." And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
What?
The whole time, my sister was standing right there.
And I'm cool with her, you know, being excited and all that. I understand that, but you know, you also have to understand that, you know, people put in work to, you know, to make that performance happen. That took weeks. You know, the planning of it. If you look at those screens, we had to go to Yankee Stadium. We shot that live. You know, there's a lot of planning that went into that performance. You know, the intro and, you know, to disrupt that is.
Were you angry? Were you angry?
Yeah, I was a little angry. Yeah, to be honest. But you know, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fight Lil Mama.
You would look crazy.
Yeah, we would tussle with her.
You would have took Kanye's headline right away from him.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to them since?
No, I haven't.
No. Have you tried?
Yes, I would love to speak to Jay-Z one-on-one.
What would you say?
And just to pretty much know how he felt, but my family was telling me that they heard an interview on the radio from Jay-Z, and he said, what was he supposed to do, beat up Lil Mama? And so I was like, wow, that meant that he didn't really like it. He thought that he put so much hard work into his performance and finances behind his performance that at that time coming up unannounced was just like, he didn't really feel that. And I would definitely apologize because that wasn't my intent.
Yeah.
Never to be disrespectful to anyone. I've always been a respectful young woman.
What about to Alicia?
Definitely.
Did you try to reach out to her too?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Try. Definitely. You could tell her that I apologize, and I definitely plan to work with both of them in the future. And I hope that this didn't, you know,
rock the boat.
That's crazy. All right, now Lil Mama, just real quick, she just said she got overwhelmed. She was so into the music, and I could sort of feel it because I felt that it was really pumping people up. And suddenly,
a lot had gone on that night anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
But I can appreciate her being overwhelmed and inspired, but we would have preferred she did it from her seat.
Yeah. Wow. Jay-Z wasn't feeling that. Jay-Z feels like I disrespected him as opposed to praising him, respecting him, honoring him, sharing that moment with him. I don't know. I would never get up there and try to disrespect Jay-Z or take a moment from life that someone else has created and try to relive it. I'm too original for that. And I respect him too much for that. You know?
Now all she wanted to do was celebrate New York. But in many ways, this cost her her chance to be well revered among the female MCs. Now around this time, a new female rapper named Nicki Minaj was making her way onto the scene and would soon take over the rap game completely, while Lil Mama would be known as the lip gloss girl who jumped on stage with Jay-Z and Alicia. But even still, Lil Mama rocked her confidence and saw herself as a force to be reckoned with. She still thought highly of herself and couldn't nobody tell her nothing. But her spirit irritated the demons of Charlemagne, the self-proclaimed god, and in his mind, he was gonna tell her something. He told Brandy and Monica that Lil Mama needed to be humbled and stripped of her pride.
You were mean to Lil Mama. You kept saying stuff about her face, and she got the young.
Well, I told y'all I was gonna make her cry. I told y'all that the day before. She was delusional. She thinks too highly of herself. I just needed to bring her back down to reality. I told y'all that. I told him the day before. Didn't I tell you, Angela? We was in the bar. We was drinking. I said I'm gonna make Lil Mama cry tomorrow. Didn't I tell you that?
And when she made her way onto the Breakfast Club, he wasted no time doing just that.
You know, one of my nicknames for you is the voice of the young struggle face.
What?
It's because you're young, but you have an old face. What made you feel like you could get up and go on stage with Alicia Keys and Jay-Z?
Oh.
Jay-Z was like, who's this young man trying to get on stage? Don't test me. Are the rumors true about Keisha Cole shooting a biopic and you're going to play a young Frankie?
You know what? I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
You know that.
You know? And if your face was the Bible, it would be the Old Testament.
You play too much, I swear.
People know you for playing yourself, walking up on stage with Jay-Z and Alicia Keys.
Charlemagne, seriously.
That's the truth. Your team is the ones lying to you. I'm here sitting there telling you the truth. Ain't nobody checking for Lil Mama in these streets.
At one point, the emotions that had been brewing since her mother's death had finally caught up to her, and she would end up breaking down live on the air.
When I was 17 years old, I put out an album while my mother was dying of cancer. That right there alone is a struggle. That's hard.
Right.
That's tough for anybody.
However, once this interview went viral, people turned it into a meme and laughed at Lil Mama's expense. She legit couldn't win for losing. And though she would go on a hiatus from music to focus on acting, where she scored big roles in several films, most notably her Oscar-worthy performance as Left Eye in the TLC movie, she never quite got back to the level of fame in music that she had at the time of her VMA fiasco. Now, over the years, Charlemagne would catch heat from several people in the industry regarding his remarks towards several people, including Lil Mama.
Like when you ask people questions that you know is gonna offend them and hurt their feelings, like, do you feel bad?
Like what question? Like what question? Hold on, like what question? Like what question?
No, just all the questions that he's ever asked anybody.
I never ask a question in malice. I never ask it like,
what's your mouth do like?
I promise.
When you made Lil Mama cry, like I feel like every black girl in the world like hated you in that moment. Like you just kept going in on her. Like she was telling you that her mom had just passed. You kept going in.
I stopped after
and then you were calling her ugly. Like Lil Mama's gorgeous.
I never called her ugly.
You were like, you look like a 40-year-old man.
You did say that.
You did. You piece of shit. As like a young girl who listened to Lil Mama, I was really against you.
But you know, me and Lil Mama was actually supposed to crack jokes on each other. That was the thing.
Yeah, but you made her cry, so you lost.
No, I didn't make her cry.
No, you lost. You did make her cry.
I wouldn't sit there and have a conversation with a sucker.
Yeah, you'll sit here and you'll bash a little girl, Lil Mama, till she cry. That's what you do. Coward, nigga.
Me and you talking to each other now. I tell you that I think you're a hypocrite.
You can think what you want, think.
And I think you be coming off as a hater sometimes.
You can think what you want, think.
So now, what's next with
I could say, I think you're a bitch. You let Fredro Starr and them check you, but you made that little girl cry.
They make her cry, but
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Envy, I want to talk about some music.
Now, Lil Mama has since been back to the Breakfast Club twice, and while Charlemagne has never shown any remorse for making her cry, he did offer sympathy regarding her mother's passing.
You leaned into her ass,
that was crazy too, because Lil Mama knew she was coming on the show, and she knew I'd be clowning her, whatever. And I didn't make her cry. Angela Yee made her cry. Yes, because Angela Yee brought up her mother. God bless the dead, rest in peace. And when she brought up her mother, Lil Mama started talking about that situation. That's what made her cry. It wasn't the jokes that made her cry. I'm the bad guy, and I like being the bad guy because the bad guy gets paid in the movie too. What would Batman have been without the joke? She a legend.
Yeah, she is.
She interrupted Jay-Z
maybe
and
she don't
Alicia
want to
Keys.
be. But maybe she don't want to be a legend for that.
2009, she wasn't. She just had lip gloss.
She's
and
the
that's when
first
she walked
meme.
up there.
Lil Mama's the first meme, if you think about it. Free Lil Mama, man. Free Lil Mama.
You know, Lil Mama's dad was gonna pop me because of Charlemagne. We'll talk about that in the
Why ain't Pop Charlemagne?
Because I was there. I was the one that pulled up, and he seen me.
Oh,
salute to Lil Mama's father. Salute to her whole family. Free Lil Mama, man.
I'm glad we
gotta get her back
that.
up here.
Absolutely. Salute to Lil Mama.
Yeah, you gotta give us some, send us some healing energy and set her down with one of your therapists to heal her mental.
So long ago. And by the way, she's been up here 3 or 4 times.
Okay, and she was probably depressed all them times, and you so busy joking you didn't see.
Guys, you gotta go.
In recent years, as Jay-Z and Alicia were continually pressed on the issue, they grew to accept Lil Mama's apology.
Did you ever forgive Little Mama for that whole situation?
Of course. Listen, to this day, I truly never knew she was even on the stage. That's the craziest part of the whole thing for me. I was on that stage. Jay was in the middle. She was on the other side of Jay, and I never saw her. Never. So that was wild to me. But I absolutely. It's not even a thing, man. I was then. She's from New York too. I think she really felt the energy of the record, and she loved it, and she couldn't hold herself back. Look, this is what my music does to people. What can we say?
Jay, are we forgiving Lil Mama all these years later?
Yeah, of course. Come on, don't do that. Of course. Like,
good.
That's our sister, man. We love her.
For
Love her.
For sure.
I wouldn't recommend people just jump on other people's stage, but
right.
we don't wish her no harm.
Nah.
That's corny. Like, she's a New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? She got excited, so that things happen. And Alicia and I, yes, she's forgiven, and You know, it's all love.
It's all good.
It's all love.
Good.
And
It's all
she was
good.
coming from a place of love. It's just, you know, may have been a little too excited, but like, yeah, but it came from a place of love.
Although for Lil Mama, it was too little too late.
I felt like it was so much time in between then and now. And although, like, you know, it hasn't been spoken on in a negative aspect or a positive aspect, it kind of just left room for people to be disrespectful. And I do feel like that's something that they both did catch wind of at some point. So for it to take so long, it was kind of just like, but it's still like, you know, it's the thought that counts. Right. And it's about growth and understanding that God has a plan for me. Yes. And there's things that I have to do for my life that doesn't involve either one of them.
Now these are just some of the many ways that Lil Mama had been misunderstood throughout her career. Now I did a full documentary on her and those misunderstandings. Feel free to check it out when you get a chance.